This is a Glass Box Media podcast.
I'm Cassie.
I'm Keegan.
I'm Christina. Welcome this week. I have something to share with you. And thank you so much to Rachel who shared this on the My Worst Date Facebook group.
A real one. We love Rachel.
I know. She's the best. But I just thought this was bonkers. And Cassie, I just was like, what if you did this for your son, Dylan? Because this is so...
Already, I can say Cassie
I'm
would
like,
never.
I don't know what's happening.
We don't know what's coming, but I'm safe. It's safe to assume.
Okay. So there's this helicopter mom.
Nope. Already no.
Already out.
Dylan was raised by wolves.
posted on Facebook. She says, seeking future daughter-in-law.
Nope.
No.
It gets so much worse.
Fuck no. I would never.
Oh my gosh.
Because I want my son in my life still.
I prefer Republican,
Nope.
Christian,
Absolutely
hardworking
not.
woman.
What you prefer. Also, I would really love to hear what the son has to say. Like, what if the son is like super liberal?
My son would
this
be
is
like, are
something
you
that
fucking serious?
him and his mom fight about all the time.
Yes.
He's like, well, this is what I would prefer.
He's actually like gay. And
Yeah.
he's like,
yeah. She's like, but I know what's best for
I know
him,
what's
though. I
best
know
for
what's
my
best.
boy,
For my little baby.
for my baby.
Ugh.
She has to be willing to relocate. She should enjoy cooking, cleaning, hunting, and fishing.
Hold on.
Gross.
Hold on. Hold
hate
the phone.
everything.
Willing to relocate. Do they live?
where?
That kind of sounds like, do they live at the top of a mountain?
Yeah,
Alone?
I don't
Like,
know.
there's no one else in this town you live in? Like, what
Little
do you
house on the prairie.
We don't want people from this town.
No.
We've been through them all. I've already interviewed everyone here.
We got to go out of state.
Yeah.
Willing to relocate.
I
Like,
know.
how
Just
hard up do you
imagine.
think women are?
Oh
that they're
my
like,
God.
for your sweet baby angel, I'm going to move to
For
the country.
you to be my fucking mother-in-law?
Right.
You better fucking...
Patty.
Patty. Honey.
Patty. No. The next sentence, all caps. No children from previous relationships.
God damn.
Girl, you're
He's
getting...
all the kid one woman can handle.
Okay, see...
That's weirdly
See.
aware, like self-aware. You know what I mean? Like, you know that
You've
you have
raised a child.
yeah, a man baby.
To a child.
Right.
Good
yeah.
for you.
So you're
You've
telling
really
on
done
yourselves,
it.
Patty. You're the-
Patricia,
Listen.
come on.
Can I call you Patricia?
May I?
I don't care, actually. Listen.
My son prefers females, preferably natural blonde. He's a butt guy, so no flat asses should apply.
Shit. This bitch. For real.
This cannot be real.
No, seriously. So I have so much to say about this. I have to keep going or
Wow.
I'm going to fucking explode.
No flat asses.
No.
Sorry, everybody. You got to be
Why?
doing those squats.
Why does your mother know that you're a butt guy?
Truly. Where to even begin on that?
I'm
Some people are
put
very.
that in your pocket.
some people
Okay.
are very open.
Put a pin in
with
that.
their parents.
Dude,
I don't want to know.
he
I don't
is
either.
26 years old.
That's my
has
son's age.
2 dogs, owns own home and business. Little redneck, but loves Jesus.
Oh, that's not sweetening the pot.
If interested, please message me 2 pics, a brief description of yourself, and 2 references must be ex-boyfriends.
Well, I love that. I got to be
This
honest.
bitch needs to get a fucking hobby.
Like,
That
this is
isn't
her
her
hobby.
son.
Start
This is her
a
hobby.
fucking book club, Patty. Jesus Christ.
God, get some crochet
Seeking
needles.
like seeking daughter-in-law. Like
This-
that is
this
so
is-
fucking like.
Yeah.
Fuck this.
That is so weird.
I hate it.
Please share this post. This boy ain't getting any younger.
Wow.
She shared these pictures.
Honey bunny.
Oh my God, she shared a childhood.
Not even like a childhood picture. The
In
picture
underwear.
is like dead ass underwear picture in front of a Christmas tree. This poor kid.
Does he know that his mom did this?
Does
I need
he
to know.
need to relocate?
Yes.
Oh my God.
Cut the apron strings. He's not getting any younger. He's 26.
Yeah.
Shut up.
Hun
Yeah,
bun.
he's a full-grown man who apparently has a business. Can you imagine?
Oh,
But
no.
he's not even that old. It's just like, what do you mean he's not getting any younger? He's 26. It's fine.
Oh my
Patty.
God. Yeah. So
Get a life.
the comments, it's like
Of
blowing
course.
up.
Yeah.
It's huge. And I need to keep on track of this for an update because I have a question. Like, is he cool with his mom?
Can we get
posted?
him on the podcast?
Oh
Can
my
we
God,
Ask him how he
William.
felt when he saw that went viral. There's so much about that is
Deeply
Where do you begin?
unsettling.
because she does also start out by saying, I prefer Republican,
But then he prefers-
Christian. He prefers no flat asses.
Blonde females with no flat ass.
Yeah,
That's what he
prefers. But starting out
So she
the
says.
message by saying, I prefer, like, what? Like,
Yeah.
it's not okay. It's not about
not
you,
my-
Patty.
Yeah. There's a lot of people. I saw another advice column this week about like a mother-in-law saying that she was really struggling with loving her daughter-in-law because they don't have anything in common. And she's like, the
Well, you
only
don't
thing
have
I can
to.
find to like about her is how much my son loves her.
That's all you
Okay,
need.
that's
Blah,
it.
blah, 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 blah. And
Nope.
the fucking advice person was like, she's not married to you.
Right.
Yeah.
Like,
It's so bizarre. I mean, of course, it's great whenever families like all, get along or really enjoy each other. Like, that's wonderful. But like, tough titties. We don't always get that.
The
Right.
amount of alone time I've ever spent with my husband's mother is almost nil because like literally everything we do is like with family stuff. Like it's
Right.
group family. I mean like sure, but I have friends and guess what? So does she.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't have to. Yeah.
Why?
And every relationship is different. I mean, and that goes for parents and children too. Like,
I mean, my husband stayed at my parents' house when he went to Ohio without me. Like he stayed at their house, which is totally cool. They just have more space than his parents do as far as like having a place to accommodate. And
they do
were
know each other.
fine.
They've been
it's
toge- they've been-
Oh
they've been
my God.
family
My
for a long
parents-
time.
And my parents and my husband get along really well. But it's not like he was hanging out with them every, day, just like shooting the shit. Like
You guys, I can't even imagine like the post that my mom would post about like trying to find a match for me. I'm just like,
this is an interesting therapy experiment to ask our moms. Like, what would you do?
my
I
mom's
just want to
post-
see it.
My
I just
mom
wanna
would be
know.
like, "Where's Chris?"
yeah. Why am I doing this?
I like Chris.
I like the one I have already. Yeah, that one's good.
Can we keep him?
Yeah.
but yeah, it's there's something just that gives me the ick. That whole mommy son.
Does it? Does it give you the ick?
Yeah.
Does it? It's the fucking most awful thing ever. I literally cannot understand what is happening right now. Like it doesn't make any sense to me. I just can't imagine having that much fucking time.
Yeah.
Well, and
I have a fucking job. And my son's 26. I'm like, I have a full-time job. I got a life. Like,
why are you so
I'm not even
do you just want
thinking about-
grandchildren that badly? Like, why are you so preoccupied with
Work
whether
at
or
a
not
kindergarten or some shit. I don't know.
work at a kindergarten?
Maybe she's
Or, like, at a
she's
preschool.
tired of like taking care
Being
of
mommy.
being mommy and is looking
that's
for
your
another
fucking
mommy.
fault, dude.
And it is.
Listen, so my sister just posted something which I appreciate coming from her, and this is my birth sister, Danny. If you're listening, shout out. Which I think I appreciate because it's the sentiment basically is like, at some point you have to forgive your parents for,
Of course.
working with what they had, not understanding, maybe dealing with their own trauma while they were raising you, et cetera, et cetera. And I'm like, I appreciate that. But at the same time, you chose to have a child and you are a fucking full grown adult and you have to take responsibility for your traumas to work through them and be a grown ass adult.
I'm going to say something though. These days, you may not have chose to have a child.
There's the truth.
Yeah.
You may have been forced to.
Or
so-
those days. Or
Listen,
those days.
Or
You know what I mean?
just like my birth mother did, because she wasn't ready, give my child up for adoption. And I
Right.
know it's a very difficult decision that not everybody can
Right.
do, and I can appreciate
Well,
that. But
I have a lot of grace, I think. I think it's changing, like with the new generations. I think millennials and older, there's a lot more thought going into having families and
Yes.
stuff. Like for my mom, I don't
It
want
was
to
what
say
you
that
did.
it wasn't a choice. It was just what you did.
It's what you did.
And I think
You're
it was
right.
just one of those things where it's just like you weren't thinking about all the ways that you could screw up your kids
Sure.
or all the ways that your parents screwed you up. You weren't examining it closely, I
Right.
don't think.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
You were just kind of like, well, it'll be fine. I'm fine and they'll be fine and it's fine.
This
you know?
is just what you're
This
supposed
is
to
just
do.
what you do, you know? And so like
There's part of that I appreciate. I'm not saying that I don't appreciate the fact, and that's, you know.
But you have to act, you know, the thing is I've had lots of conversations with my mom, you know, because she had my brother and I, she was a parent of 2 children under the age of 1 when she was 22. Because my brother and I are less than a year apart.
But she also, and
you know,
her circumstances twisted on her in a way that was unfathomable,
and
you know?
there's a lot of trauma there. And I now as an adult can see the ways in which like that trauma shaped certain behaviors in my own life. Like I understand it now, but to my mom's credit, we've had lots of conversations where she can own a lot of that stuff. And it's not her fault necessarily because like she didn't know she was doing it. It's not anything that was conscious, but I respect that she can look back on that and say like, I was your parent and like, you know, like these are I had faults and these were my faults, you know, and accept responsibility for those things too.
I'll tell you
really good
one thing she never did. Write a dating
She
post.
sure didn't.
She sure didn't.
She sure didn't. Oh my God. Or me. Thank God.
Can you imagine? I just literally can't imagine.
No.
You know?
I would move and change my name.
Yeah.
Who dis? You,
I need to know if he knew. I need to know if he signed off on it. Because that changes.
That's what I need to know.
I don't think that there's no way you would sign off
I gotta
on
look
that.
at this article more to
you
see.
might
think?
It depends. People have weird relationships with their mommies.
Man. See, now but that's also the thing. Like, I'm not interested in being part of that relationship.
No.
Because that's what you're part of now.
But
it's
what,
not, you're not
do you
like,
think there are women out there who are like, I love this. I love that this is the dynamic I'm stepping into. This is what I want.
I mean, I guess.
There's got to be, right?
There's a dog for every Beth.
There is.
Yeah. I don't know. I think that's my point, right? Like, bitch, you raised this. This is what you did.
You did this. You did this.
Yeah.
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 Someone commented Freudian nightmare.
Oh my God, right?
Honestly.
Literally.
Sending
Oedipus.
a picture
Yeah,
of your
Oedipus.
ass to a potential mother-in-law so
Can
she
you
can
imagine?
assess
What
if it's
if-
juicy enough to make her son's dick hard.
Jesus Christ. I swear. Gross. That is awful.
Oh no.
I hate
The
it.
scream I am
I
scrumping.
just got goosebumps.
Ick.
That is
Can you
disgusting.
imagine?
Oh no.
Wow.
Because I'm sorry. She's looking for a top dollar. She's looking for a dime,
Yeah.
but she's putting out nickel energy. If I'm honest.
At best.
At best.
Nickel is
Nichols
Giving her
being
something.
kind.
you want a fucking dime piece who's gonna live on the mountain with
Yeah.
you and go hunting.
No. Listen, I'm not saying that
I'm not
pretty
saying they
people
don't-
can't hunt.
I'm not saying they don't exist.
Yeah.
Okay. Before you get in our mentions, I'm not saying that like really hot people who love that country
True.
life don't exist. I know they do.
I
seen,
don't think
I've
those
seen country
people
music
want that.
videos.
What I'm saying is it's not the country life that they're not wanting.
Yes.
They don't want the Patty.
They
They don't want a Patty.
They don't want Patricia.
I'm sorry. It's,
No one wants Patricia.
Nobody wants. This is like the opposite of Everybody Loves Raymond.
Nobody
Oh,
wants
no.
Patricia.
Sorry,
my gosh.
sorry, babes.
Wow. So I actually read something really interesting on Facebook, which I'm almost never on anymore, which is hilarious. But I was just kind of scrolling, and somebody had posted, like when you're 20, like 20 some things are hot. When you're 30 some things are hot. When you at what age are you like 70? Do you still think 70-year-olds are hot, or are you now?
Dude, look
I
at Helen
think-
Mirren.
I think it's funny because I thought about that and I'm like, I don't think people in their 20s are attractive anymore. Like, I'm just not into it. Like, I don't think they're attractive.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean?
All right.
Like, not,
Well,
not in a, like, subjectively, like, they're mid or whatever.
Yeah,
Like, I'm not
exactly. Ryan Gosling's mid.
Yeah. No, I'm not. I'm
You're
not. And
talking
Ryan
about the-
Gosling's closer to my age. So
You're
I'm
talking about the energy that they're
Yeah.
putting off. It's
Well,
not an
just-
energy that's
No.
attractive to you anymore.
I just don't find, like, I can look, I'm like, ooh, too baby of a face. Like, it's just,
I
that's like,
see.
you're very childish looking to me. And I just, that's not attractive to me. Like, I think so one of the whole post was basically this guy's response, which is that, like, as he's aged, he appreciates the maturity in somebody's face, like wrinkles and the things that you do when you mature.
I think that's a very mature mindset to have. But I mean, we've talked about that study that they did where it's just like what the average man finds attractive, like what age. And it's lingering right there around like 18, 19, like physically.
I think that there's something to be said about, what is the peak physical attraction. But I think when I think about like what I would be attracted to IRL,
what you're attracted to,
right?
Yeah,
oh, okay,
yeah.
All right.
Like, are you? What do you? I mean, where do you feel? Like, I know, like we've talked about sport. I see somebody who's 20, and I'm like,
oh, same.
Listen, baby child.
Yeah. It's not for me. I would feel like a grandma. I told you guys this, and this is a little bit of a diversion, but I just feel like the listeners need to empathize with me about this because what the fuck? Okay, I'm not that old. I went and bought a bottle of wine. I went and bought a bottle of wine at the grocery store, and the guy did that thing where he's like, "Are you 21?" And I was like, I always have my ID ready, so I handed it to him. He took it from me and literally went, "Whoa,
damn."
He saw that 19 and gave you some fucking stank.
He said, "Whoa, you really are."
Oh shit!
Oh my god! To my face, you said that. Like,
I hope you said that to him out loud.
I gave him a look, and I think he knew that. Like, that was it. Gave that energy of that clip with Kevin Hart, where like he's with Don Cheadle, and Don Cheadle's like, "I'm 52 years old," and he goes, "God damn."
Yeah, I didn't mean it.
I meant, damn. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I do feel like and maybe it's my own insecurities. I don't feel like I could be with someone in their early 20s. Like I would just feel...
You're not doing the Kate Beckinsale?
I'm not doing the Kate Beckinsale.
Yeah,
I'm not doing...
Listen, good for her.
If I looked like Kate Beckinsale, I'd be doing the Kate Beckinsale.
I don't have cougar energy.
I don't either.
It's a certain vibe.
I don't either.
That I respect.
Oh,
listen,
dude.
But I just don't have it.
I think that there's also like a definite gap, right? Like that's, for some people it's much tighter,
right?
Like the window's a little tighter on either side. Some people are like 20 years either side, let's go for it. And I'm like, whoa. Okay, well,
big window.
That's too big of a window.
Yeah, I tend to like my my zaddies these days. That's kind of the range I'm going for, like the Pedro Pascals. I like mine well seasoned.
Yes,
they got a little life on them.
Funny thing is, right? So like, even though when I was younger, I liked that, I still liked guys who were like, when I was in my 20s, guys who were in their 20s were hot to me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
I think that my seasoning has changed. The way that I look at guys is different.
I feel like I find people of all ages hot,
attractive, exactly.
But would I want to date somebody?
Right.
It's like that episode of Sex and the City, right? Where it's just like, would you hook up with somebody in their 20s, like somebody younger than you? I'd do that probably. Yeah, if they were into it and I was into it.
Yeah.
But do I want a long-term relationship with somebody who's like just figuring it out?
20-something year old.
Yeah, I'm like, bitch,
it was hard enough to do the first time around.
I'm fucking tired. Okay, like I worked my way up from that air mattress. I cannot go back.
No,
there's no going back.
And I think it says a lot about like why we find Pedro Pascal hot now, but we've never really he's been around for ages.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like,
and he was always attractive,
and he's always been attractive, but now
he's got a little life on him. Yeah. I like that.
I do
nice.
Too. Me too.
Yeah. So I was thinking for Fuck, Marry, Kill, we could do something along those lines. Maybe we find somebody who's our age.
Ooh.
Specifically.
Okay.
Ooh, that would be interesting.
Pause while we do some research. Hold on.
Un momento, por favor. That was for Pedro. Okay, after extensive research.
We spent a lot of time debating, trying to figure out what went right.
There were great options.
Phenomenal.
There were
very
great
happy
options.
with my options.
I almost went with like a Jennifer Lawrence or an Emma Watson, both born same year as me, who are stunning, beautiful. Like Jennifer Lawrence's face.
I love her.
Is the most perfect thing I've ever fucking seen in my life.
It's really stupid.
It's flawless, which is upsetting.
Yeah.
But I ended up going with Dev Patel because that man.
Yeah.
Ooh-wee. Ooh-wee.
Yeah.
Ooh-wee.
I don't think we've
super
done
hot.
him yet.
He's hot.
No, and I never saw The Green Knight, but just the trailer. Oh. He was so hot in that trailer.
Great things about that.
Really? I heard mixed things.
Well, I think that, okay, so here's what I've heard. If you're like a movie, cinephile, that it's very much for people who are super into.
It was very visually beautiful.
That's right. You did watch
it. The plot of it I might need to watch it again. It just
like
didn't
no
seem,
plot, just vibes.
It was vibes.
Yeah.
all vibes.
Got it.
And it was beautiful, and he is
He's
beautiful.
hot. That's the thing. I didn't need to see the movie. All I wanted, I was just like,
Just put that bitch on mute.
Yeah,
throw it up while you're cleaning. You're like, oh,
that man is sexy.
Yeah.
So.
yeah.
Well, I picked. I had a lot of choices too in the 82, but I had to go with Matt Smith. Those cheekbones and
House of the Dragon.
Yeah,
He's a vibe.
Doctor Who.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah.
He is one of those people. I mean, we could really do another FMK of like people who shouldn't be hot but are weirdly like, because he is one of those where it's just
giving
like
Crispin Glover.
Yeah, you're like, this doesn't make sense at
Right.
all. You shouldn't be hot. But in The Crown,
In The
He
Crown,
gives intensity. There's an
Yes.
intensity.
in The Crown, I was just like, I shouldn't be attracted to Prince
he's
Philip at all.
ever.
Really?
Ever in my life.
But I was like, oh, I get it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
He was really good in that. You're right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I chose, again, stacked. But in fact,
You had great choices.
I did. I had like Ashton Kutcher.
Tyrese?
Tyrese.
Hot.
But mine actually had a lot of people we've done already. And
Right.
so I chose Ian Somerholder, who I think is,
Smoking.
God,
That
the
man
fucking-
is so pretty. Like, that's the thing. I look at that man and I'm like, you are like etched from marble.
He's
like,
out of my league entirely, but he is hot.
yeah, he's out of all of our leagues.
That man is, and I've heard that he's incredibly nice.
Yes.
So.
Can speak to that.
Yeah.
Yes. Very, very nice, warm person. For me, this one is
Tough.
pretty tough.
I think I know what I'm going to do too.
I think I know what I'm going to do.
Okay, go for it.
I think I'm going to marry Dev Patel.
Yeah.
Okay.
He seems
Yeah.
Sweet.
so nice.
He seems sweet.
Well traveled, very smart.
You'd love smart.
Incredibly hot. But yeah, he's somebody that just strikes me. Listen, Matt Smith, all of those things too. But you're right, the intensity that I just think.
Well, we know what we're going to do.
Oh, hell yeah.
With that. We
Gotta
know what
do
you're
it.
gonna, we know what you're going to do with
You
that
have
intensity.
to.
I'm fucking Matt Smith.
of the three of them, and Ian Somerholder
Yeah.
is so fucking hot. But there is something about Matt Smith that I'm like, that is going to
gonna
be
fuck your face off.
a. Yes.
I can't feel my face
Yes.
when I'm with you.
It is going to be so intense.
Yeah.
Like in a good way.
Yeah.
In a like what the fuck happened way. I think.
I feel like I will be forever changed.
Yes.
I feel
Deeply
like
on the
I
inside.
will learn something that I won't be able to unlearn.
Yeah.
And I'll be like, I didn't know I was into that.
That's going to be the kind that wakes
That's
you
gonna
up
be a
in the middle of
problem.
the night.
Yeah.
Like,
That's
in
going
the
to wake you.
future.
That's going
Yeah.
to wake you up in the middle of the night.
Yeah, you're going to wake up in the morning and be like, what did I do?
What happened to me? And I go back to Dev Patel and I have a beautiful life. But sometimes I'm like,
Remember that
In
one
the middle
time?
of the night,
yeah, late.
haunts you.
It haunts.
Yeah.
Wait, you guys already have somebody like that, right?
Haunting.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah.
A ghost.
A ghost.
You get a cold chill.
Ghosts of orgasms. I should write a like a romance book that's
Oh my
like
God.
totally like a play on like Dickens or whatever.
That really awful movie with what's his name?
Ghost of Girlfriend's Past.
Yeah.
Oh God.
Lord in heaven.
Ghosts of Orgasms Past
Yeah.
is the name of this
There's
episode.
Yeah.
like
Yes.
Matt Smith has secrets.
Yes.
Like you look at that man and you're like,
got
he's got
secrets.
his
His secrets have secrets.
behind his eyes. You're like, shit is happening there.
Secrets have secrets.
He's too
He is-
good in House of the Dragon, where I'm like, you're too good at this. You're too good
Anybody-
at kind of being a dick. Because same in The Crown. I'm like,
Yes. There's no reason his characters are so deeply unlikable, and yet
you're like, would fuck him.
I would fuck 100%.
no,
no.
questions asked.
Yes.
Oh no, we're unhealthy. We need therapy.
I know.
Well, that goes without saying.
Yeah. Is that what everybody's answer is?
No,
Well,
no,
okay.
no.
I was
Mine's,
like,
mine's
you
different.
go ahead and go.
Okay, I'm going to marry Ian Somerholder.
I see that.
He seems like the best energy.
Your kids
He's-
would have the most intense
Oh my
eyes.
Oh my God, that
Ever.
blue. Oh my God.
Between the two of you.
People would know that my eyes are green with him.
Yes, because his are so blue.
So blue.
Chris's are that way too. But I think it's more intense on Ian Somerholder, obviously, because he's got that dark hair.
Mm-hmm. And Chris always wears glasses.
And listen, Chris is a beautiful human being whom I love very much. But I will say, like, I mean, we're apples to oranges here. Like,
we're talking about like
somebody who's the
Ian
most stunning
Somerholder
person on the planet.
Yes, if I saw him in real life, I think I would pass out.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah,
absolutely.
He looks like he was like somebody drew him.
Yeah, it's
look at my
character.
drawing.
Yeah,
very nice drawing.
He looks like he belongs in a fantasy book.
Yes,
like, you know what I mean.
In my fantasy book inside my brain. So I'm marrying this fantasy. Even though I know I'm stepping way past my bounds.
You gotta do it.
Listen,
once in your life.
I mean, you have to do it. You
Yeah.
fucking have to do it. He's goddamn gorgeous. And he's, again, like one of the most chill, most awesome, seemingly human beings, right? He's so good with his fans, everything. Like people just like love him. He's a good people.
Good egg.
Now, am I going to fuck Matthew Good? Yes.
Matt Smith.
Or Matt Smith.
Would also Matt Good.
Yeah,
yes.
both. Yes.
Oh, because
Matt Good was also in my age.
very similar, similar vibes.
But yeah, Matt Smith. Yeah, he has a room.
Yeah. Yes. There's
a room.
There's a dungeon. There's an actual fucking dungeon.
There is a room in which we speak
Shit
not of.
Goes down.
My God.
And I'm ready.
Yeah.
Guys, I'm getting sweaty.
And I pass the baton to you because I do want to be Dev's friend.
Yeah.
What a great dude.
What a sweetie pie.
I want to go to the bookstore together. I want to like play games.
Yeah. I think I'm going to marry Dev. I honestly could marry Dev or Ian Somerholder.
Yeah.
I think that they both seem like really
beautiful,
nice guys, like good guys.
Ian can do that smolder thing too.
Yes. Like, yeah. No. Okay. I'm gonna marry Dev. I'm gonna marry Dev. I do get that energy. I get like cozy bookstore energy. I get big sweaters.
Yep.
Walking around in fall.
You're gonna live in London.
Energy.
Fall.
You're gonna live in London.
He's got an autumn vibe.
Autumn vibes. And I love, who doesn't love an autumn vibe?
Pumpkin spice Dev.
Yes. Oh, I love it.
Ian's definitely summer.
Yeah. But yes. Yeah. Dev Patel has like a scarf energy.
Yeah.
And I like that.
And Matthew Smith has a very winter.
Yeah.
Very, very winter.
Cold.
Yes.
Cold and scary. And
a little bit.
I like it. Yeah. I like it. So I am going to, we have to do it. We just simply have to know.
It's for science.
It's for science. And we can compare notes.
Yes.
And I won't even be jealous at all. I'll just be like, I'm curious. I'm so curious.
And see,
so what did he do with you?
I have a feeling, he would be very adaptable.
Yeah.
Like we wouldn't get
He's
the
gonna
same
customize the experience.
Yes.
I'm giggling like a school.
Yeah, I feel it. And I feel like he's good at reading people. Like I just get that energy.
Yeah.
He did this thing on The Crown where he would like lean back and like had kind of like looked at you. He does it on House of the Dragon too, like the down gaze. And you're like, he is reading you like a fucking book right now.
Yes. And that's so hot.
I think I'm having heart palpitations thinking about it. I'm like,
can we take a break?
Maybe die. Again, somebody send this to Matt. I'm just waiting for the day when one of our listeners knows one of the people we talk about. And you have to send this
like
clip.
a TikTok or something. And they're like, this is the most unhinged thing.
Somebody's like, oh my God, Dev Patel's my really good friend. And you're like, oh.
Unhinged speculation.
Don't tell him.
I feel like sex with Dev Patel would be nice. You know what I mean? I'm like, it would be just like, he would make you feel safe. Like he would just make you feel really seen.
He's the best person to wake up to next in the morning. Like
he's making you pancakes.
Big spoon energy.
Oh yes,
yeah.
He's got good big spoon energy.
Definitely. Yeah. And then I want to be friends.
Ian's gonna fucking cook you breakfast for sure. He is that guy. I get morning vibes from him.
Oh,
like he likes to wake up
early.
I
get dinner vibes from him.
Okay. Well,
but I'm also great. I get like he's gonna like spoon feed me like a bolognese. You know,
I don't want him to do that because I'm not baby.
No, I mean like while we're at least cooking, like he's like taste my sauce or whatever.
Yeah, I'll taste your sauce. Yeah. Wow,
but
we have got to get off.
I want to, but anyway, I want to be friends with Ian Somerholder because he does seem like a really nice guy.
It is so funny. After doing these episodes for so many years, I'm like, I can always tell when we're hungry. I can always tell when we're horny too. The FMKs get fucking wild.
Spicy.
Oh, goddamn.
Oh man.
Yoinks. Well, with that being said, we do have some new patrons. We do have some new patrons.
Yeah.
So I want to give a shout out to Roald Schrader. So welcome, Roald.
Nice.
We are so excited to have you. And then a special shout out to Renee. And Renee has been kind of following us for a long time. I think I've seen her on social and things like that. So she's been an active worstie for a long time. But she sent us a really lovely, sweet message on Patreon that
means a lot.
You don't know how much I needed that this week.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for sending that encouraging message to us. We really appreciate you. We appreciate all of our patrons. Roald, thank you so much for joining us there on Patreon as well. We just can't say how much all of your support really does mean to us.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you guys want to take 5 and we'll come back with stories?
Sounds good.
And we're back. I have to say, we are really unhinged today.
Yes.
It is morning time.
Yeah.
We met earlier than usual, and things have gone off the rails in our pauses between recording. The shit that we're discussing, not okay. Anyway,
it's good. We all needed it. I had the longest fucking week, dude.
Me too.
Man.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Oof. All right. So this story says, starts at a friend's birthday celebration. About 10 of us are at a bar drinking and buying our friends, we'll call them Mr. S, birthday shots. He gets super drunk really quick to the point where his girlfriend takes him back to my place. They're visiting from out of town and my apartment was a block away. One of my friends brings a few of her friends. So this is just like a friends on friends situation.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
that gives me anxiety. Like thinking about
Yeah.
I feel like that was something I did a lot in my 20s where we just like end up at someone's house.
Yeah.
Which is great when it's someone else's house. But like when it's your house and everybody just and you weren't expecting it. And I'm like, I just want to go to bed.
Yeah.
She goes, bing.
Yeah. We're done.
Like a little bell.
Everybody out. You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here.
Right.
Normalize last calls at the house.
Right. You do that thing where you're flicking the lights on and off. And you're like, get out of my living room.
Yeah. That's hilarious. Or you turn all the lights on real bright, like a bar.
Oh my God. That's the worst feeling when you're at a bar. And you're like, the stark light of like.
I run out like a cockroach. I'm like, because when I go to a club, I be sweating.
Yeah, we are going hard.
I get it.
Yes.
And so, I'm like sweated off any lick of makeup I had on.
Yeah.
My hair
It's
is
not
sticking to my
pretty.
face.
It's not pretty. You look pretty under those like dark bar lights. It's
Dancing
not,
lights. Yeah.
Anyway.
Okay. Anyway, one of my friends brings a few of her friends I've never met. We start talking to them. I hit it off immediately with one of the new girls. We exchange numbers and decide to hang out at a later time. Fast forward about a week later, we decide to meet at a cafe. I show up a little bit early, so I start reading on the patio by myself. This sounds dreamy. If I walked in to meet somebody and they were reading on the patio, I'm already well,
Yep.
you might be the one.
Yeah.
Just sign me up. By myself, about a half hour after our scheduled time to meet passes. So I both text and ask her what's happening, and not to waste a visit to one of my favorite cafes, I go inside to buy an espresso. She texts back that she's running late, but she's here now. By the time I'm back on the patio reading again, she walks up, we hug. She backs up, looks at me up and down and says, she doesn't like my shirt because it looks tacky.
Okay, I think we're done here.
Ooh.
Like if that's the I'm sorry, but like if that's the energy you're coming to the date with, like
wow,
I'm
30 minutes late. It sounds very like what a man does.
Like nagging.
It's nagging.
Yeah,
it's giving a lot
is.
of male energy.
I want you to
like
know that it's giving very early 2000s pickup artist energy.
Yes.
Where it's just like, I want you to know that you're not important to me. And that's why I'm going to show up 30 minutes late, show you that like this, it's not
and
a
I
big
don't
deal.
like what you're wearing.
It's not a big deal to me. And also like, I don't like what you're wearing, but like, I'll give you a chance and you're lucky.
Yeah,
I'm
it's
going to.
very that,
Yeah.
right? It was a normal plaid shirt, one very similar to the one I was wearing the night I met her. I laugh it off and ask if she wants some coffee. So we both walk in and I ended up getting her a tea. We sit back outside, her with a look of pure displeasure. I try to make some small talk, but to no avail. Nothing comes out of her mouth. I take a deep breath in and accidentally breathe in a fly.
Oh,
Oh, she's going to love that.
No. Oh no.
The way I felt that.
Oh, I know. In the back
God.
of your throat.
I breathe. So I'm sitting down choking on a live insect. My mouth tastes like shit, and to top it off, my date, top it all off, my date stands up and starts yelling at me, saying I'm embarrassing her because of how I'm making a scene.
Oh my God.
I slammed down my gas.
The scene I would make if a fly was in my mouth.
Oh.
You gotta be fucking kidding me.
I slammed down my glass of water, pull out my cigarettes, light one up, stand up to give her the peace sign and leave.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Fucking deuces.
And this is the worst date I've ever been on.
Yeah, man.
You ate a fly and had to look at somebody's like fucking
Give you
like
shit
just
face.
give you shit the whole time. Yeah, the shit sandwich face.
Ugh.
Oh my
I
God.
was just crying. As soon as he said I breathed in a fly, I was like, well,
babes.
Oh, that's the
Yeah.
worst.
I've had flies like it's the worst when they fly like into your ear, and I like freak
worst.
out when that
Yes.
happens to me. If it went
you're like,
into my
don't
mouth,
lay eggs in there.
like
my
that
God.
just like loud buzzing that happens when they're like in your ear, you're like
I remember there used to be, and I don't even know if this is an urban legend or if this is true, those like water bugs or whatever that they crawl in your fucking ear and lay eggs or whatever. It's like a thing.
The way I
Fucking
would lose my shit.
Shoot,
I would
me.
go crazy.
I would lose my shit. I've seen those TikTok videos where they do
Nope.
like the candle
Bloop.
and then like a spider crawls out of someone's ear.
Nope.
Because they're like, I just really can't hear. I feel like there's something in there.
no.
And then it's like a fucking
That is
live
a nightmare.
spider.
That is a nightmare.
It's over. It's over for me. I would never recover. I would
know.
never recover.
It's like those
Just
like
sleeping with
Guinness
cotton and
World
earplugs in my ear every night.
Every night.
every night. It's like those Guinness World Records or whatever. It was like someone had the hiccups for like 42 years.
No.
I'm like,
End it all.
No.
I'm sorry.
I
I
once
can't do
had
it.
an eyelash on the inside of my eye.
Yeah.
For longer than an hour, and I thought, I'm done.
This
is how I die, 'cause
I once had a like eye twitch that wouldn't go away. Like, it's like dehydration or stress or whatever.
Yes.
And it was literally like a week of my eye just kind of twitching a little bit.
Oh,
Torture.
Yeah.
Oh, awful.
I can't handle minor inconveniences anymore.
Me neither. I need
I'm gonna
everything
be
to
real.
go
It's the
smooth.
It's the sweater snagging
Yeah.
on the drawer
Yes.
handle.
I can't do it.
It's not it for me in
No.
this time of my life.
Dropping the toast jelly side down.
God,
It's the end.
don't. No.
Oh my God. Okay, here's my story. She said, this is with my ex. We had already been together for a few months, and he took me to a local bakery cafe. We're sitting there, and the owner comes over. I learned that his family and the owner's family were really good friends. They came from the same country, and the food was super authentic and yummy. I was also on my period, and by the time we finished eating and had to pay and go, I really needed to change myself. I went into the little bathroom, and the first thing I noticed is there's not a single trash can or bin in there.
No.
As the ladies know,
That's not cool.
Who designed that?
A man.
a man.
A man.
Yeah.
But even like you need.
Where are you wiping your hands and
Where
throwing
are you
your...
throwing your shit away at?
A
Not your
man.
literal shit, but like
You guys all put your shit in the trash can, right?
Yeah.
That's where that goes.
I catch it and I roll it up in a paper towel, and then
I told you about my friend that used to do that when she was little, right?
Oh my God.
She used to make little
poop babies,
little poop babies.
poop dolls, and keep them in a drawer. I
No.
forgot you told me that. She said it on this
I know.
podcast.
I have blocked it from my memory and I don't want to be
What?
told again.
I would end a friendship over that. I'm sorry. We can't be friends
I think I was
anymore.
like 8. I couldn't handle the emotional complexity of that situation.
That's too much.
Anyways, so as you ladies know, when
deep
this
trauma.
happens, you just have to wrap the pad really well in toilet paper and whatever you can find to shove
right.
it in your purse for a few minutes until you can
Get
discreetly
into a
toss
trash
it
can.
elsewhere.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Everyone's been there.
Everyone.
Yep. I peed and went to flush the toilet. It didn't go down. I tried again. And that's when I heard the chain inside the toilet snap and break.
No.
You just got to sneak out as quietly as possible and leave, and then explain later. Text him. I had an emergency.
I can't.
I'm so
can't do
sorry.
this. So not only do I have a toilet paper wrapped used pad in my purse, but the toilet broke.
Nightmare. Fucking nightmare.
Oh my God, shoot me.
I washed my hands and walked out. What I didn't know is that the cafe was closing for the night and we were the last customers.
Oh, so they know.
My ex paid and we left. I was burning up with embarrassment inside, enough to have my ex notice that I looked super flush. I used the spicy food as an excuse for being so flushed because if the owner said anything to him at a later date about the unflushed bloody toilet, I didn't want him to lie and say it wasn't me. Plus, we were still somewhat new to the relationship. Fast forward a few months. We were out for another date night and my ex had to suddenly go number 2. By that point, I learned he had a little bit of the ibs. So we walked into the closest restaurant we could find. I pretended to sit down and browse the menu while he ran into the back. 10 minutes later, he comes out, walks right past me and leaves.
Yep. That's what she should have done.
I was like, what the fuck? And went outside after him. I find him around the corner looking super sheepish. He walks down another block with me, chasing after him. We finally stop, and he turns to tell me that he not only had explosive diarrhea, but the toilet backed up to the very tip of the rim and was possibly overflowing by now.
He didn't even stay.
He was like, Terminator ran out of there.
God bless people who work in like
service
cafes
oh
and
my
stuff
God.
like that. It's like,
I know. Anywhere with a public restroom, man.
Oh my God.
God be with you. He ran past me because there were 2 people waiting in line for the bathroom after him, and he knew I'd obviously run outside.
that is the worst.
No.
Like when there are people waiting,
No.
and you know they see you,
No.
and they walk in. You really do have to.
You got to get out.
Gotta get out. You gotta get out.
That is
Bye.
that is exactly
I don't
what
exist. I don't want to be memorized. I don't
no,
want to be memorable.
no.
I was never here.
I was never here.
That
I don't
ain't
know
me.
her.
Mhm. You're doing the Men in Black like mind wipe. Yeah.
I started howling with laughter. In between catching my breath, I tell him about the bloody toilet backup at his friend's restaurant. We both start laughing hysterically. From then on until we broke up, there was nothing left sacred between us. And every time since then that we had to use public restrooms, we asked upon return, did the toilet flush?
Yeah.
I'm here to advocate for better toilets.
Yeah.
Yep.
They should be able to handle
Just regular
whatever's going
activity.
on. Okay.
Yeah.
Like,
We put a man on the moon.
yeah, we can't work this shit out.
Yeah.
Literally.
Yeah. Sorry.
Gotta figure it out, everybody. Okay. Mine says, on a trip to Seattle a few months ago, sleepless after a stressful day of meetings, sleepless in Seattle.
I see what they did.
I flipped open Bumble to check out the local menfolk. Burned out on the selection back home, every date in the Bay Area is a drink with an entrepreneur trying to scale his disruptive startup.
Oh my God, the fucking boring ass conversations.
Oh my
And
God.
Machu Picchu on the weekends.
Oh, triggered.
Yeah.
Here you are. You're like, no,
I
thank
can't
you.
imagine. I mean, we've had people on who have dated in San Francisco or like the Bay Area and dated down here. Very different energy, bad for different reasons.
Right.
But I have to say, like, my energy, I don't think I could handle dating in San Francisco.
No.
Like
Yeah.
I
No.
just feel like I couldn't do it.
Yeah.
I was re-energized by the fresh offerings of the Pacific Northwest, a place where it seemed people could climb mountains for fun with no obligation to post a selfie. I struck up a conversation with a Seahawks fan in the Boondocks we'll call Jay, who disarmed me with his liberal use of emoji. Jay's profile revealed that he builds rockets and competes in Mr. Olympia bodybuilding pageants.
Wow.
Okay.
It's a lot.
All right.
Could such
Does
a
he
balance...
professionally do any of these things, or is this all in his mind outside of his van?
Like the pilot.
He builds like model rockets.
Yeah,
is like what he meant.
exactly.
Yeah. Could such a balance of brain and brawn exist in a real person, or was I being catfished? Awestruck as I might have been, I was hesitant to accept Jay's request for a drink without an additional layer of vetting. I found the guy on Facebook and checked it out, but by the time I got back to him, I had only 24 hours left in town and no energy for a date. Oops. Fast forward a couple months later, I was heading to Seattle again, much sooner than expected. So I pinged Jay to see if he was around. My mom might drive in from Montana, he wrote, but if she doesn't, I'd love to have a beer. The obvious solution here is to invite your mom on our date, I replied.
No, it's
No,
not.
no, it's not. In
No.
what obvious reality is that a solution?
She says, I was mostly joking, but figured the risks were low if he took me seriously. That's brave. You don't know people's moms. We
You
got
could get
Patty out
Patty.
here.
You got Patty in there.
Patty's in these streets. Okay.
Patty's like, you're not blonde enough and your butt's not big enough.
Yeah.
Excuse me?
Patty could live in Montana. Montana has lots of mountains.
Yep.
She could live there.
Yep.
First dates are already awkward, so I thought it might be a nice buffer. My own mom passed away when I was much younger, too, and it's always a special treat to hang with women of her generation. Okay.
Okay.
It doesn't. It's not a first date.
I still don't love it. Yeah. For a
Regardless,
stranger.
it's not a first date.
Yeah.
I don't. Like
I don't
this.
like it either. It's
Yeah.
not for me. Lo and behold, Jay embraced the idea. We agreed to meet at a little bar near my Airbnb. Just don't tell her we met on a dating app, he added. She'd think that's weird. T-minus 48 hours until our drink, and I get this message on Facebook notifying me of a scheduling conflict. She's provided screenshots, by the way.
Oh, amazing.
Hi, Laura. I'm Jay's mom from wherever. I talked to him tonight and he said he wanted to meet up with you Friday. I've been correlating with Jay's friends to help me surprise him with an early birthday party on Friday in Kirkland with some of his friends. Can you help us with this?
Oh my God.
She's like, I know that you guys have a date. However, we already have something.
We
planned.
have
yeah,
plans.
we
got
got
plans.
Jay's surprise party. Yeah, we got to get shit.
I had no idea how Jay's mom tracked me down. I guessed this was my earlier sleuthing of her son coming back to bite me. My mission, as she delivered it, insist Jay meet me at a chain restaurant where all his closest friends would be gathered. Or if that's too complicated, I can just tell him, she continued, and spoil the surprise.
Wow.
I was horrified at how quickly this had escalated and how my hands
aggressive much, huh?
how my hands were tied. I couldn't ask Jay what to do without spoiling the surprise. I couldn't tell Jay's mom I didn't want to meet his friends and family because he'd asked me not to reveal how we had or had never met. And I couldn't ask her to pick a different night because she'd already driven 600 miles for this.
You know what? I'd just not go.
Yeah, like I think we're
You know what?
canceling.
This it sounds like you guys have something big planned.
Right.
You're like,
You
I know.
know
I
what?
think that I
Block,
think this makes
block,
more
block.
sense for you guys to just do this.
We've
Yeah,
never
without
met.
me.
We've
We don't
never
need to do
met.
this.
Yeah.
Instead, I scrambled to find Jay's friend on Facebook to introduce myself and get his recommendations on how much of a train wreck it would be for a complete stranger from a dating app to crash Jay's surprise party. What if he had other lady friends?
Oh, Jesus.
But the guy never answered, and Jay's surprise party was now just hours away, so I had to throw caution to the wind and make it happen. I battled much resistance from Jay. Quote, I don't want to take you to McMennon's. They have mediocre beer. So she's trying to convince him like, oh, I really want to go to this chain restaurant. And he's like, no. Like, I don't want to take you there. I want to take you somewhere nice.
Aww.
You know,
Well, Jay.
30 minutes of rush hour traffic to the boondocks and my own strong desire to hit the ejection seat. But I did it. And here's a picture of Jay's 37th birthday party.
Oh my God.
Best parts of the night. 1, his family and friends had zero clue who I was and looked especially confused after his mom's toast to Laura for helping organize this party.
Oh my God.
His friends are like, who?
Who?
Laura?
Is he dating someone? I didn't even know.
Wow, okay. 2, obvious signs that I'd never met Jay before. This is her first
Oh my
date.
God.
I'd never met Jay before.
Hilarious.
Sorry, what does Jay do for a living? Oh, cool. Does he have siblings?
Oh my God.
3, getting social proof that yes, he really is a rocket scientist,
wow.
bodybuilder, blue-eyed bachelor gentleman, and all-around unicorn with no other women in the wings.
Wow.
Oh my God. Are they married
Lock
now?
it down.
They better
Lock
be
it
lock
down.
it. Be
The
married.
fuck
Yes.
down.
The Ziploc bag of pasties, a traditional savory pie that his mom brought from Montana. I love when moms do that shit. They're like, I brought this Ziploc of cookies you like. You know what I mean?
My mom will always, like, my Christmas package always has random, like, Ziploc bags of, like,
That's
baked
what I
goods.
give people.
Yeah.
I always make a bunch of baked goods and
Yeah.
give them. 5, going out to the parking lot with Jay to fetch the above from his mom's trunk. Our only alone time together, which we spent having a good laugh at our little secret. 6, Jay's profuse apologies that I was dragged into this and deep respect for my willing participation. The next day, Jay sent me a flattering note on Facebook, thanking me again and regretting that we live far apart. I doubt we'll ever see each other again because of the distance and my work, but I'm certain we'll remain Facebook pen pals for life. It turns out we have some things in common, including losing a parent and a cheese-tastic outlook on life, that everything happens for a reason, etc. And I will always remember Jay's birthday. It's the same day as my mother's.
Oh my God.
And here's a picture of her with his mom.
Oh my God, that's cute. That's really
I
cute.
hope it works out for this.
I know.
Oh my God,
I hope
you
the universe-
crazy kids.
It was only a couple of months ago, so like,
God, I
it
hope
could
the
work
universe
out. It could
brings
work
them
out.
together. Let's manifest.
Yeah, what if she
that.
gets a job in Seattle and then like,
Oh my God, you guys.
Let's write this
literal
Hallmark movie
goosebumps.
right
Yes.
now.
But how funny! It's a first like that sounds like a rom-com, like a first date where you're like,
my God.
oh God, oh no.
Yeah, somebody should
Nobody
write
knows we
that
haven't-
movie.
We're not
There,
dating.
this is definitely a Hallmark movie. Well, WGA is on strike right now, so like I don't
Right.
demand anybody write anything.
no one write
but-
anything. But we're allies. But
Yeah.
That's
Wow.
amazing.
That's sweet. That's a good story.
I know. I like that. You guys want to take 5 and then we'll come back with the Tainted Love?
Sounds
Yes.
good. Cool. Okay, and we're back. And I have the Tainted Love story for us. I went a little different in the direction this week because I found this story and I was like, oh, this is a really fascinating story. So the Tainted Love part of it will come later in the story, but it was really interesting to me to see how it was like an unsolved mystery for a really long time.
okay.
And how with new technology and how with people like, armchair detectives who are able to kind of do stuff that maybe regular detectives don't have enough energy or time for, are able to solve and kind of bring peace to families.
oh, nice.
So,
okay.
all right. I watched On the Case with Paula Zahn.
Okay.
Justice Frozen is the name of the episode. I read a CBS News article by Emily May, and I'm going to mess this name up. It's Czachor. Zacher?
Sure. Yeah.
If you know how that's pronounced, please send us a phonetic pronunciation.
Also a New York Post article by David Proper. It's April 20th, 1998. Couple are driving. They're in a remote Henry Mountains of Utah. It's just north of Lake Powell. This area is not like commonly driven. It's more of like that beautiful mountainside that you see pictures of Utah, right? But it's
Utah is such a beautiful state. It really is.
really beautiful,
Yeah.
right? And they're just, they're kind of between locations. They're driving from one place to another. So it's really kind of that kind of road. It's beautiful, but it's not traveled very often.
A lot of Utah is like that.
Exactly.
So many. There's
Yeah.
like long stretches of nothing in Utah.
Very much that's this area. They, like I said, driving along, all of a sudden they pass something. They're like, huh, what is that? So they pull over and they get out of their car to check out what this thing is. Because if you drive in these areas, it's the landscape is very same.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
when you see something that looks odd, you're like, huh, that's really a sore thumb.
The number of conversations I had with my mom driving from, because when I lived in Utah, we lived very remotely, like very, very far in the middle of nothing. So it took like an hour and a half to drive to Salt Lake City. And when we would do that, like long stretches of nothingness, this is where I get it from, because the number of conversations I had with my mom about like how easy it would be to get rid of a body. Because it's just like, there's nothing out there. Like, it's just like,
Yeah.
and no one ventures out.
Yeah.
into,
And nobody's
like,
probably paying attention. And I got to be honest with you. If I saw something on the side of the road, I'm probably not stopping.
I'm not stopping.
It's not me.
It's not me.
It'll
I'm not the one.
It'll never be me telling a story about how I stopped on the side of the road because I saw something.
Not if I was by myself. If I was with Eric or something.
Even
Prob-
then.
would
Of the
probably
three
be
of us,
me.
it would be
Yeah.
you who's going to stop and investigate.
This is
yeah.
true.
Yeah, it's me.
I've seen all kinds of shit on the side of the road, and I'm like, huh, that
I
was
do
weird.
automatically
Oh, well.
think body. If I see
yeah.
if I see a bag on the
Bag,
side of the
yeah.
highway,
Oh,
like
it's
a trash bag,
definitely
I'm
not like mannequin or whatever.
No.
That doesn't come out.
But I've already passed it, and like 3 miles later, I'm like still thinking about like, man, I wonder what that was, because I'm not stopping, even with somebody in the car, even with 5 people in the car. I'm just not. It's just like,
you don't want to know.
huh,
You don't
that's
want to know.
interesting.
Yeah.
What's in
It's just
there?
probably trash. In my
That's
mind,
what I tell myself too.
it's trash. Somebody left their trash on the side
Yeah.
of the road, like you do.
It came out. It fell off the back of a truck.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this was not trash. This was a sleeping bag that had duct tape around the edges.
Oh, God.
and rope.
Ominous.
And they're like, yeah, we probably shouldn't mess with this. This is definitely probably a body.
Right.
And so 911.
Yeah.
They're like, this is not for us. This is for people who have paid to do this stuff.
Yeah.
Right.
And the police come out right away. Of course, they determine immediately that it's a homicide because
God bless them for not fucking with that. Because I feel like some people would. They'd be like, well, we don't know for sure.
Poke.
Take the zip,
Take the
duct
tape
tape
off.
Yeah.
Oy. Yeah, don't do that. Don't be a hero. Nobody needs that. They immediately find that it's a woman who has been wrapped up, right? So other than some like faint tire tracks that are along the side of the road, there's not much evidence at the scene where the body has been found. They do all the forensic, they take the tracks, they do all that kind of stuff, but there's not really much to go on at that location. They take the body back to the lab and they found that the woman that had been bound was bound in a very complex manner. She was bound in plastic, duct tape, then tied, then put in a sleeping bag, wrapped in a child's play carpet, all of these things. And they also find that once they get to her body specifically, she is also, her ankles and wrists are bound with duct tape. There's a bag over her head that had been tied with a rope. This is definitely obviously murder. Like this is a horrible, complex way of doing something. Plus too, like they noticed like right away, they're like the ropes were tied, in a very specific manner. This however this was done, like it felt immediately to police like seems forethought has gone here.
A lot,
right?
yeah.
A lot of forethought.
Yeah, it's a lot of materials.
A lot of materials.
Would they leave it on the side of the road? Like we said, like there's so much open stretch of nothingness out there that like why?
From the crime scene photos, it doesn't look like it's directly on the side of the road.
Okay.
It does look like it's back a little bit, like somebody pulled off.
Okay.
But I think that they probably just counted on this just random stretch of highway as not being traveled or traversed enough that people would notice right away.
Or care.
Or care. Or, oh, wow, you're about to say like you?
No, I mean,
like you that just drive by.
Like you who would just not do anything.
I mean, I think if you saw a duct tape sleeping bag, I think you guys would stop.
Probably going to
Yes. If I knew that that's what it was.
Not by yourselves though.
No.
I would not.
No, I would call 911.
Yeah.
On
I'd be
my
like,
way. I'd be like,
there's a weird
at mile marker XYZ.
Correct.
Yeah.
I saw something suspicious.
Yeah. Can you just send somebody to check it out?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go.
That's
Just take a peek, see. It might be nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're able to, once they finally get her unbound, kind of figure out, who this person is. She's about 30 to 40 years old, likely Hispanic or of native descent. They're not able to get a whole lot from it because on top of everything else, the body had also been completely frozen all the way through.
Whoa.
So somebody had taken the time to do you don't just freeze
weird.
all the way through
Right.
by sitting out into a cold desert.
No. You
That's
were
something-
in a freezer for a considerable amount of time.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
So obviously the police are like, okay, well, how do we where do we go from here? There's no sexual assault. There's no defensive wounds. And they actually at first are like, how the hell did she even die? Like, what is going on? Finally, the autopsy determined that her cause of death was actually a gunshot wound to the back of the head. It was small caliber. And the bullet never made it all the way through. So it was still lodged inside. But from the bullet remains, there were only fragments. And all they could tell is that it was a small caliber bullet. They couldn't even tell what kind of bullet or what kind of gun.
Wow.
Yeah. So the other really fucked up part of this is that she has no fingertips. They have all of her fingertips have been removed.
Oh my God. This
is horrible.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is they're like, what have we fucking found? Like, what is going on?
Oh.
It was clear that the killer, whomever it was trying to make this body completely unidentifiable. And without fingerprints and no real identifying marks, there was no major birthmarks or anything.
Teeth?
Well, teeth, yeah, maybe they could have done dental records, but 98. Also, too, if she is, possibly of Hispanic descent or of native descent, then that might be a little bit harder for them to track, But they did say, fingerprints would have been the number one clue, because if she was somebody who was an immigrant, or of Hispanic descent, who'd migrated here or whatever, there's likely they would have had better track records of like fingerprints. And that's probably likely why they were cut off, is that this person. So they're kind of like narrowing down, like this seems more likely in this range. It's somebody that probably has fingerprints on file somewhere.
Okay.
Right.
And that's why they cut them off.
And that's why they cut them off. Right. They do find a very small like mole at the top of her ear. That was like the only thing that they could noticeably identify.
I have so many moles.
I know.
I feel like they
and
tattoos.
Oh God, you'd have to really ring me up.
Oh.
That's fine. Ash to ash, whatever. She has a small mole on her ear that they're like, this is the only real thing that is identifiable. Detectives, of course, go through NamUs. They find nothing. They do meticulous searches of this, all the things, the ropes, the tape, everything. They go through everything. And the only thing that they're able to come up with, like as far as like evidence wise, is a partial palm print. Oof. Which... almost useless at this point, unless you absolutely have a suspect in mind that you're like,
that we can compare it to.
But they don't have a suspect in mind because they don't even have a clue who this person is.
Right.
So they just have like a woman.
Yeah.
And they have no clue. So this,
terrible.
I mean, it's watching the Palazan, because she interviewed a lot of the detectives and stuff who worked on investigators that worked on the case. And just, you could tell like how much they were affected.
Oh yeah,
by this case.
This sounds tough. Really, really awful.
Oh my God.
I mean, all these cases are always awful, but like this would be a particular kind of like terrible.
But then also not feeling like you have any clues to work from.
Yeah,
like that's got to feel like very helpless, and like you want so desperately to at least give someone peace, right? They felt like. The investigators were kind of like, well, it kind of feels like something that maybe somebody had done this before. Crime Lab, again, not able to get a whole lot of information. So Utah puts out a press release and starts asking the public for any help in identifying this woman. They put out and I have to show you, I'll show you later because it comes up again, but they put out a drawing of the woman. And like, if anybody knows who this woman is, please contact us. Nothing really comes in. Nobody's really getting, any information. But a few days later, they do receive a tip from a police officer, a deputy, that he had just prior to that, or just post the time that they think the body was left, pulled over this guy named Eric Brox. He had been pulled over for drinking driving. He was driving erratically. Upon his arrest, he had actually told them some stuff that was really strange. So that's what like kind of the
Red
deputy's
flags.
like,
Yeah,
that's weird. So there's a body out here. This guy was telling me that, he was kind of mumbling and muttering things along the lines of like, his wife's in a better place now.
He's red fucking flag.
That's not more than a red flag.
Yeah.
That's a neon fucking light.
What?
He,
what?
quote,
I'm sorry.
Dropped off his wife. It's like all these things are like adding up. Like
it would be very bizarre because it's just like if someone is drunk driving and saying their wife's in a better place, then I'm like, okay, maybe like
better
their
than
wife,
this car.
Maybe their wife died and they're sad and that's why they were drinking. But if you're like, oh, I dropped my wife off, so I'm like,
and you're in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
So also some of the things that were kind of clicking were he mentions that his wife is short. She's only 5'2".
Why are you talking about her at all?
She's Native American. All these things are like, this is really
a lot of information at a traffic stop.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, he was arrested because he was drinking and driving. So this is
But
after his
still.
arrest. But he's like going on telling him all this stuff. They're not able to find her either. So there's no, they're not even able to find this woman that he's talking about. So
like, cool. Can we see your palms, please?
So starting to not add up. They're checking on his story. And the weird part is that they're checking his story with like the places he said he'd been. And everybody's like, that they talked to was like, he wasn't with a woman. He was by himself. Like he's never been with a woman, was never with him. Like, so they're kind of like, is this really weird. Nobody corroborate what he's saying.
Yeah.
And then they do the palm print. It's not a match.
Okay.
And it seems like this whole thing was just him making up a story on the fly. And because there's nothing that connects him. And the case basically
goes
cold.
Yeah.
Until 2011. So 2011, the Utah State Bureau of Investigations reaches out to the detective who was the lead on the case originally. He thinks that he may have a connection, that there was a serial killer in the area named Scott Kimball. Scott Kimball, I don't know if that name
sounds familiar.
Slightly
It's
familiar.
ringing some bells.
Exactly right. He was actually an FBI informant, but all the time that he was an FBI informant, he was also a fucking serial killer.
Oh, geez.
He had already been attached to 4 murders and was suspected in 20 plus more cases. And they're trying to like wrap up as many cold cases as they possibly can that might be attached to him. There was a lot of things that made detectives believe that this could be a Kimball case. He was active during this time. His job was a truck driver, sometimes a refrigerated truck driver.
I actually thought that. I was like, I bet it wasn't a refrigerated truck.
It felt that way, right?
Yeah. Freezer truck or something.
He's a truck driver. He drives back and forth between Colorado and California. This would literally put him on the direct path in which this Jane Doe's body was found. Some of the other familiar traits: female victim, bullet wound to the back of the head, no DNA at the crime scene, victim wrapped in multiple layers, fingers severed, and a body dump.
And that's his MO. That's like what he does.
Yes.
Wow.
So this is like,
compelling.
I would think I would be looking. Yeah.
The other thing that is incredibly compelling is that the knots are almost identical in the way that he has done his past crimes. So it's, I mean, the picture, I was like, those are the same knots. Those are the exact same person. There's not a question in my mind that this is a Kimball kill. Well, it turns out it probably isn't. When they interview Kimball, though, he's like kind of playing along. He's like, might or might not be mine. I don't know.
It's so gross whenever like serial killers play coy.
Well, because the thing of it is too is that he's on death row. I mean, what you're not getting out of death row, dude.
Right.
You're not. So what is the point of this?
Just to be an asshole.
Well, he's like, maybe he can get a better accommodation. Maybe he can get a juicier suite. I don't know. But basically, he told detective, he's like, those knots aren't that big a deal. It's not unique to me. He's like, it's something I learned at Boy Scouts. Scott Kimball's son, though, however, does say that he did have a mat exactly like the play mat. It's one of those play mats.
Children's,
they're like a children's play mat that you like drive cars through. It's got like lanes and stuff. It looks like it looks exactly like a play mat that he had when he was about 5 years old, which was 1998. So, they're like, what about this play mat? He's like, what? You think I'm going to stop at a Toys R Us and get a play mat that like maybe every child in the U.S. had at that time? Like he's just like, you're barking up the wrong tree eventually, because he's like, there's nothing that he can get out of this. So he played coy long enough to find out like he's not going to get anything out of this deal, and then was like, no, it wasn't. Yeah, fucking, it wasn't me. But compelling evidence.
Yeah.
Compelling evidence. Like I would have, even as an investigator, even if you told me he hadn't done it, for whatever reason, I'd be like,
yeah, we're going to keep dog ear that.
Yeah, I'm going to put a pin in it. If something happens, because to me at that point, I almost feel like that case is solved. With all the evidence that had.
I mean, they just did the palm print match or what?
That's the other thing. So then the palm print doesn't match.
Well, yeah.
So so that's the only other thing. But then, you could argue a palm print could have come from, maybe something
someone
else.
handed that to some. Yeah.
So at any rate, there's so many things that add up there that you're just like, on circumstantial evidence, if I was a jury, I might accidentally convict this guy. Because it feels so specifically tied to his MO.
Yeah, it does.
It's right.
And so possible.
It's
because he was driving through and
it's hard to dispute.
Yeah.
It would be a very hard case to dispute. At any rate, again, nothing happens. Years and years go by. The case grows cold again. And in 2018, just a few years ago, 20 years after this body was found originally, they decide that they're going to actually release a photo. They feel like, we're going to release a photo of this woman because, we haven't gotten anywhere so far. Let's do another shot. Let's run it again and see if we can't. So here, I'm going to show you ladies a picture of the drawing and a picture of the woman. And I want you to talk about how dirty that sketch artist did her.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
They don't look anything alike.
No, they do
Nothing.
not.
That sketch.
That added 20 years to her life.
Yeah.
Her hair's not the same.
That's
nothing.
a young woman. And
Yeah.
then that sketch makes her look, 20 years older.
Yeah.
It's wild.
Yeah.
And I'm like, of course no one knew who that person
Right.
was, because I don't recognize that
No.
picture. That was like a drawing that I did of faces when I was in 7th grade.
Mm-hmm.
It's really bad.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, no
We had to wait
wonder
20
years to release a better photo. It's insane. Anyway.
Yeah, they couldn't have done, so 20 years, they couldn't have done like a digital thing.
I think
like,
the case is cold at that time, so they
they just
probably
didn't care. They didn't want to put the resources in.
Well, I just think that they probably thought they didn't think it was going to do that much better or that make it that much of a difference. But that's a huge fucking
I
difference.
mean,
Yeah.
I think anybody can look at the sketch and be like, that doesn't look like that person's face.
Not even a
No.
little
At
bit.
all. No.
Not even a little bit. At any rate, so they do release the face, the picture of the woman. Utah investigators get a phone call from a California woman, an amateur sleuth who goes through NamUs on kind of pretty regular basis and does specifically this, where she tries to match up maybe people that are missing to bodies that have been found. And she finds a photo of a woman that she thinks might match their victim. And she's like, here's a missing person's photo. And that has many similarities. One of the main similarities is there is this telltale mole at the top of her ear that is in the exact same spot where they're like, we think we found your victim. This woman, it's the most wild coincidence, honestly, because this Ohio victim had been missing since 1998. But the photo had just been uploaded to NamUs within days of the Utah photos release.
Whoa.
Wow.
So Ohio didn't even have this woman's photo attached to her missing persons file until just recently. So this Ohio missing persons identified her as Lina Reyes-Geddes. And according to the file, her husband had died in 2021 and all of her family is living in Mexico. Lina was the family treasure. She grew up in a loving home. She had a degree in international export and import and export, which sounds like a crime.
I do feel like we've been conditioned to think that import, export. Yeah, I feel like we've been conditioned by like The Wire or whatever to feel that way.
Well, and then she ends up moving to Youngstown. I'm like, import, export my ass. She's a ballet dancer. She's like the family jewel, right? Like she's just literally the jewel in their crown. And she met Edward Geddes in 1996. He's a successful man in his own right, was a chemical engineer. And when they met, they married, and she moved to Youngstown. To confirm the identity of the woman right away, they're like, okay, we need to contact the family in Mexico so that we can get like a positive DNA match. The problem was that the Mexican consulate was having problems finding the family. So they were like, okay, let's put this on the media. So the Mexican media took it, and within days, they were able to track down some of her family. Her sister, Lina's sister, right away was like, I think we really think this is my sister. I want to give you my DNA. They do a test, and it does confirm that the Jane Doe is in fact Lina. Immediately, police are like, where's her husband again? Where's this guy? Because obviously somebody close to her.
Right.
And also they look into this missing person case, right? Like according to this missing person record, he last saw Lina when he dropped her off at the airport where she was heading to see her family in Mexico. So she had a flight from Youngstown, or I'm assuming Cleveland, Youngstown, whatever, to
Utah,
Texas, actually. Her flight was through Texas and then Texas on into Mexico.
Okay.
So he was like, this is really weird. I saw her, I dropped her off. He actually initially wasn't even going to report her missing. It was an aunt of hers, I guess, according to the New York Post article I read, that said it was like 5 months later before they actually officially made like a full-on missing persons account, because right away they were like, no, Lina, she didn't show up. What's going on? And the police interviewed him early on and were like, yeah, no, I dropped her off at the airport. I don't know. I don't know what's going on.
And no kind of follow up on that.
Yep.
Yeah. Listen, I think if your partner went missing, I feel like I would be a little bit more like,
I dropped him off at the airport. What are you talking about?
But then I would follow up maybe a couple weeks later, be like, hey, you heard from so-and-so?
No, I dropped her off at the airport. I might drive to Texas and see if I can't find her though. So there's no evidence of a plane ticket that was ever purchased. And in the 1998 interview, he was really evasive. He didn't really remember any, didn't really answer any of the questions. It was really odd. But one of the things that he remembers so vividly, so viscerally, is the exact bra and underwear that she put on, which is the exact bra and underwear that they found her in. I can tell you right now, if I asked Chris to describe
100%, Eric would not know.
Chance. 0%.
He'd be like,
chance.
I don't know. Brown?
Yeah, exactly.
Like what? Black. Still exactly. Yeah. Oh my God. Right? Like he remembers the exact thing. Oh, because it was his favorite pair of white cotton underwear that had.
I don't like that.
That had little
lace or something.
No, they were like little fruit, like apples apples and bananas. And he was like, "Oh, it's
watermelon
my favorite."
slices.
Yeah.
Fucking weirdo.
Yeah.
Look, not like you having a favorite pair of whatever of your partners is fine, but it's just like
to remember it like that.
Detail.
It's such a strange detail.
Yeah.
He knew exactly down to the design what she was wearing. He didn't remember really anything else, also except that she did have a sleeping bag that she packed with her, and she was taking it to her little cousin, and he goes, quote, "I rolled that son of a bitch up tight." I don't like that.
I hate that.
Don't like that verbiage. Don't like that. So in the interview, I mean, like this is a videoed interview from years ago because again, this is from 1998. We're at 2018.
Yeah.
But the police are like, "Ooh, I don't like the way that was said."
Yeah.
In interviews, the friends of the couple had revealed, though, as well, that the couple had been fighting and that Lina had been very unhappy. Their status it was like their relationship was coming to an end. Lina was unhappy. It was just a matter of time before she left. That's what all the friends were saying. And that, she was complaining because Edward was very controlling. He was a very controlling person. Also that they stated, some of the friends were like, also, another weird thing that happened is that when Lina went missing, Edward also mysteriously vanished for like 4 days. He said that he was going to drive to Texas to look for her.
Look, if that was my friend, I'd be like, this motherfucker did it, right?
Yeah.
Like we'd be getting together.
We'd be getting together and we'd be like, they fucking did it.
Yeah. We got a 9-1 fucking ones. Somebody.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
Oh, it'd be the three of us on the date line and be like, we knew it from
fucking knew it. You know what? I never liked him anyway.
No. He was a full fucking mess. And I knew he was up to no good.
Oh my God.
Oh man.
Sit down with Keith Morrison.
We're too much for Keith
I want
Morrison.
Andrea Canning.
Yeah.
I feel like she could.
Yeah.
She could hang. Ooh, Josh Mankiewicz.
I think Mankiewicz would throw it back.
Yes.
Josh Mankiewicz could handle it. I feel
Mankiewicz
like we need Mankiewicz on this situation.
Okay. None of this has happened, by the way. We have no one.
God forbid.
That'd be awful.
That would
it's
be
terrible.
terrible.
Yeah, we
So
shouldn't
awful.
put that out into the universe. Knock on wood.
Geddes in his job had access to freezers. He was like a chemist, like I said, but he also owned his own business. And within his business, he owned these industrial sized freezers. So a lot of the things are starting to add up to this point. He also had vans that would really very well could have aided him in the transport of this body. And while many conventional methods in the past had not given any evidence to this point, they now have new evidence. It's 20 years, and with time comes technology. And they now have this, basically it's a DNA vacuum. That's the best way to describe it. They use this little DNA vacuum in which they could use on the ropes and pull as much,
DNA as possible.
Evidence off of it. They send out the filter to be tested. And upon doing so, we're able to confirm that there was a match to the DNA of Edward's brother. The other thing is they couldn't even test a palm print because
he's dead.
Absolutely. Edward had actually killed himself in 2001 in a hotel. So, I mean, this is something, they didn't even have a body. They had cremated the body. They had
Right.
nothing to test off of that. So they were able, his family was able to come together. They actually had a couple people who were like willing to help them, you know, connect the dots there.
Yeah.
And it is confirmed. They were able to confirm that it was Edward who did kill his wife, Lina. Lina's
Wow.
family, though, is now able to finally, after 20 years, have answers to not only where she went, but who was behind this awful tragedy.
This is the fucking hobby that Patty needs to get into.
Yes.
Patty.
Stop worrying about your fucking shit, son. And
Yes.
fucking, because it all came together because of that woman.
Yeah.
That's a fucking hobby to get
That's
into.
a hobby. Get
Yeah.
your ass on NamUs.
Yes.
Start looking for unidentified bodies that match up with missing persons.
And bring families closure
That,
instead of looking at random women's asses for your son.
yeah, there it is.
Yep.
Patty, we've got a future for you.
Give us a call.
Exactly. Give us a call.
Okay.
But I
or
think
don't.
that-
Please, actually.
Yeah, actually,
I don't.
don't call us. But the reason I know that this isn't kind of on our traditional Tainted Love avenue, but I just thought, gosh, it's just we're in such a time where, you know, all we think about is how technology is ruining our lives and all the things that are bad about technology and all the things that
I feel like you're talking to me, but
No, I'm just saying I'm not talking
Yeah.
just AI
No,
or
no,
anything
I
like
know.
that. I just think that we've, you know, in many ways people are like, so like, oh, you know, times are changing. It's tough for people. And I think that, you know, with that also there's been some really incredible
Yes,
developments
absolutely.
and things like this are able to, you know, bring families closure. And I mean, again, you know, we always hear like there is no true closure, but this is something that answers questions for people.
Oh, it would be huge.
It would
you
be
know,
a-
it's like, of course, you can't bring that. It's not going to bring that person back. It would be awful. I mean, it's awful news to receive, but at least you know, which I think has to be like.
Well, and that's what her sister said, you know, like it doesn't bring people back, but she did feel like she was able to bring a piece of Lina back with her to Mexico when she went home.
Yeah.
Like she was like, this, you know, has come full circle. It's made something whole.
I mean, for me, the other thing too that's really depressing about this is the fact that like for 20 years, I'm sure that family was making calls and trying to do anything, but like not having that movement
can
or whatever.
Only do so much as an individual. Like it's so tough. Like you will come up against like brick wall after brick wall. Like you need the right people with the right tools to be stepping in and doing stuff.
The fact is that who would have known? I mean, these investigators, I don't think they ever stopped investigating this crime. I really, truly don't. And I think that, you know, but the problem is that she lives in Youngstown, Ohio. So
couldn't be further
how
from
could
Utah.
Right. Yeah. How could you have known? Yeah.
Couldn't be further disconnected from Texas,
Yeah.
Ohio, any of the places where they could have possibly imagined
Right.
this person being.
Yeah.
Yeah, and unfortunately, there's so many, you know, crimes like this that it's difficult to cut through the noise and be like, you know, if there was some sort of media thing that maybe one of the detectives would have seen and been like, oh, that's weird. Maybe that's our Jane Doe, that kind of thing. But yeah, it's
It's a
so
miracle
depressing.
that it did get
Honestly,
solved. Like
and
it is
I
a miracle.
think that's the thing that shook me the most is that a person in California, somebody the most disconnected, almost really feels like you need those freshest of eyes, the eyes that aren't tainted by the story, aren't tainted by like mythology around it or anything attached to it, that was able to just be like, they look alike. And it doesn't matter that there's no reason for her to be in
it took
Utah.
Ohio 20 years to upload a fucking photo.
Well, that's the other thing is, but if the husband's not interested in putting it up,
right?
You know, where were they going to get a photo from? They finally, I think, probably got something from the family who finally was like, "Will you please upload this photo?" You know,
my
again,
goodness.
your bureaucracy of all of that. You know,
Yeah.
and you're dealing again
Jesus.
outside of the country. There's a lot of layers to it. So,
Well, yeah, like we've always said, I think it's your tribe.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Keeps that fire
Keeps
going.
that fire and protects you and looks out for you.
right.
So
Yeah.
yeah,
keep the pack close. Huh?
thanks for sharing that.
Yeah.
Well, what are you guys watching this week? Dude, I got a doozy for you. Let me
You
start
go.
this off.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I saw a TikTok and I wish I could remember the creators because the creator is somebody that I've seen his videos come up from time to time. He's this really quirky author dude. And anyways, so he fucking had a TikTok about this show that's now on Max, which I cannot believe this is on the same channel as like The Sopranos and all of
Prestige TV.
Prestige television. It's called Mountain Monsters.
Well,
there are 6 seasons
That's
of this.
because that's a Discovery show.
Yes.
Because like when Warner Brothers merged with Discovery, Max got weird. Because it's like, we're going to have all the HBO shit that's incredible. And then we're also going to have paranormal, weird ass Discovery shit.
So, Mountain Monsters, 6 seasons of this. Every episode follows the same
I cannot
formula.
believe you are watching this.
I checked out one episode.
Oh, okay.
I don't think that I could continue because I was like, it has to be fake. That cannot be what the show actually is. He is 100% right. There are like 5 or 6 guys, long beards,
of course,
like very much look like, the duck hunting people. They all they all have very like distinct like skills, supposedly.
Of course.
They go into the mountains to hunt a different cryptid every week. And
you know what? I'm into it. I'm going to watch it.
Seasons?
That's
Are there
hilarious.
that many cryptids?
How many different kinds are there? I've listened to lore since the beginning, and I don't know that they've had that many different kinds.
They're making them up. And then B, so the first episode I saw, it was like they went into the woods in Kentucky and they're like, we're looking for a 500-pound wolf or whatever. And their proof that it existed, they saw a tree and they were like, that's much bigger than a regular wolf. Look at how the bark is worn down.
How would I know? I don't know.
And then then like every first
Twilight wolf.
Every first night their camp gets attacked and then they have to make up a way for them to kill this cryptid, which they do by the end.
Oh my God.
No.
Shut up. They have to do like deep work. They're microfiching in like the fucking library trying to find like an ancient text of how to like kill
They just make it up. Yeah, they're like, we have to get this legendary axe.
Stop it. I swear to God. That's not true.
I swear to God, you guys, Mountain Monsters.
They're filming this. The big people think that it's real.
Like a Nicolas Cage movie.
Oh my God.
It is the wildest ride. And I'm like, they're saying it's like reality. And I'm like, this is grown men playing D&D and it's on
fucking
film.
Funny.
It is.
I have to be honest.
You got to check it out.
Hilarious. But you know what? I really couldn't watch more than one episode either because it's like how I feel about Ghost Adventures now, where I'm just like, there was a time when I could watch that show, and now I'm just like, y'all are just fucking with me. Like you are
just playing D&D,
fucking around with me right now.
One of them is like a trap specialist.
Come on, please tell me they have like Real Housewives intros where they're just
they
have
confessionals and stuff.
I love it. That's so fucking funny.
So yeah, enjoy that morsel.
Oh my
Discovery
God.
is wild.
It really
Discovery is wild. It truly is. That Max is wild because what you can find on there now, where it's just like, do you want to watch somebody eat a couch on My Strange Obsession?
I know. No.
That's on there.
Yeah.
Do you want to watch people getting messy on 90 Day Fiance? Because that's on there.
Or do you want to watch like prestige television?
Yeah.
Like Game of
Do you want to watch
like,
Last of Us?
What is happening?
It's insane over
the
there.
world is on fire.
Shit is insane.
I don't know.
There's a hurricane coming to California. Shit is out of bananas.
2023 is coming for us in a way that
I'm barely going to survive it. I think I'm just clawing my way towards the end here.
Just
truly.
2023 was like, oh yeah, you guys can go out of your house now. Hold my beer.
Yeah, I did see a TikTok with a woman who was like, because it started out with like a news thing that was just like, they found like an ancient satanic Bible or Book of the Dead.
Open it.
Like, open it. Fucking open it.
Open
like
it.
what else could we possibly We've got fucking aliens, we got demons, we got hurricanes in California. Who gives a fuck? Open it.
Just
Might as well.
Yeah.
Living on maybe they'll help us out. Maybe they're helpful demons. I don't fucking know.
I've been watching The Librarian. Speaking of opening ancient relics,
I had an audition for that show back in the day.
Did you?
Yeah. Well, the initial cast.
That's so cool.
Wish I'd gotten
been
it.
Great on that
Thank
show.
you so much. I thought
you
so
know
too.
the main girl character's name's Cassandra. So
could have been
me.
Could have been you.
No, could have been me, but it could have been you.
I could have been you.
You could have been
though.
me. Yeah.
Anyway.
Wow. Anywho, I've been watching that. I actually watched all three movies, and I'm like, I never I don't know what. It just had never been on my radar, but I'm like, yeah, this is exactly right for me.
Oh,
it's the most
nice.
Indiana Jones nonsense, dumb shit. I'm like, it's
Love it.
perfection.
So
Nice.
fun.
Yeah.
So fun. I have not been watching anything new. I've been just wrapping myself in a warm cocoon of comfort shows. Like I've been watching Friends because it's just nice to have on. I've been reading a lot. I rewatched Aliens because I like that movie. Like it's just, I'm just rewatching things that are predictable that make me feel comfort.
There you go.
There you go. Well, hey, if you guys have something that we should watch, if you want to chat with me about Mountain Monsters, if you have a terrible, terrible date, go to our one-stop shop of a website. It's myworstdatepodcast.com. And we love you so much. Cheers.
This is a Glass Box Media Podcast.